You probably think of braces as just, well, braces, right? A mouthful of metal, a rite of passage for a lot of us. But hiding behind that familiar hardware is this incredible story of technology, a 100-year-long quest for control, for efficiency, and now for invisibility. And trust me, it's a story that's going to change the way you see a smile forever.
To really get a sense of how far we've come, you have to see this. This quote is from the 1950s, from a top orthodontist named Charles Tweed. He believed that to do a good job, a doctor shouldn't take on more than 50 new patients a year. That's less than one new patient a week. The work was just that slow, that manual, that painstaking. So keep that number, 50, in your head, because it's about to get completely blown away.
And wow, this chart really puts it into perspective. Productivity has just skyrocketed. Meanwhile, the cost? Back then, getting your teeth straightened cost about the same as a brand new car. Today, it's way, way less. But here's the part that really gets me. The average quality of the final result has actually gone up. So how did that happen? Well, the whole story comes down to a tale of two competing philosophies.
Yeah, at the very heart of orthodontic history, you've got this huge split, this great divide that really defined the field for decades. And the question was pretty simple, but the answer had massive implications. Do you give the patient something they can take in and out, or do you glue something right onto their teeth so the doctor has total control?
Okay, so here's the deal. This chart lays out the big trade-off. On one side, you have removable appliances. The big plus? The patient could take them out. But the huge catch was, it all came down to patient compliance. If you didn't wear it, it didn't work. On the other side, you had fixed appliances, the control freak's dream. The doctor had ultimate power to make really complex, really precise movements. The downside? Well, everybody knew you were wearing them.
And get this, this whole debate even split along geographical lines. For a long time, American orthodontics was pretty much all about fixed appliances. It was driven by this relentless pursuit of perfection. Meanwhile, over in Europe, they really leaned into removable appliances, partly because their healthcare systems were different, and they were focused more on just guiding growth for as many people as possible.
So let's dive into the American side of the story for a bit, because this is where one man's obsession with control literally changed the face of orthodontics. His name was Edward Angle, and he was on this single-minded quest for one thing: perfect, three-dimensional control over every single tooth.
Angle's whole career was this fascinating journey of trial and error. You can see it here on the timeline. Each invention solved one problem but created another. His first appliance could only tip teeth, not move them. The next one was so complicated it was almost impossible to use. The one after that was great for lining teeth up but couldn't control the roots. And then, in 1928, he nailed it, the Edgewise appliance. It was such a simple, elegant idea, a rectangular wire in a rectangular slot, and boom! For the very first time, orthodontists had true 3D control.
But even with this breakthrough, there was still a huge bottleneck. Doctors had to spend hours and hours putting all of these tiny, painstaking bends into every single wire to account for each tooth's specific shape. Then came the next brilliant leap forward, the straight wire concept. The idea was just genius in its simplicity. What if we stopped bending the wire and instead made the brackets smarter?
So here's how it worked. Instead of the doc making all those little bends in the wire, those compensating angles and thicknesses were built right into the bracket itself, customized for each specific tooth. This one change got rid of most of that repetitive, time-sucking work. Now, a simple, straight wire could do most of the job, which led to this massive jump in efficiency.
Now, while all of this was going on with wires and brackets getting smarter, a totally different revolution was quietly starting to build. And this one wasn't driven by control, it was driven by aesthetics. Patients, especially adults, wanted straight teeth, but they really didn't want anyone to know they were doing it.
And this is where that humble, removable appliance makes its spectacular, high-tech comeback. The process for making clear aligners today is a total digital marvel. It starts with the 3D scan of your mouth. Then software creates this virtual movie of your teeth moving, bit by bit, into the perfect spot. Then, they 3D print a unique model for every single frame of that movie, and a clear plastic tray is molded over each one. You just wear them in sequence, and with each new aligner, your smile gets one step closer to perfect.
So you're probably wondering, how can a simple piece of plastic make complex moves, like rotating a tooth? Well, there's a secret weapon: attachments. Think of them like tiny tooth-colored rock climbing holds that are bonded right onto your teeth. They give the plastic aligner the grip it needs to apply really precise forces, which lets them tackle cases that used to be only for traditional braces.
Which brings us right up to today, and a look into a future that honestly sounds like something out of science fiction. All these different streams of technology we've been talking about, that obsession with control, the demand for aesthetics, the power of digital tech, they are all converging right now to create the next generation of orthodontics.
First up are these things called temporary anchorage devices, or TADs. They're just tiny little screws that are temporarily placed into the jawbone. So why is that such a big deal? Because for the first time ever, it gives orthodontists an anchor point that absolutely will not move. Before TADs, they could only pull teeth against other teeth, which is kind of like trying to tow a car with another car. Now, they can pull against the bone itself. This lets them make moves that were once considered physically impossible.
And it's not just the wires that are evolving. The brackets themselves are getting a radical upgrade. We're moving away from the one-size-fits-most world of stock brackets to a future that's fully custom. Think about it like this. It's the difference between buying a suit off the rack and getting one custom-tailored just for you. That's the level of personalization we're talking about, with AI designing them and 3D printers creating them to perfectly fit every single tooth. So when you look at an orthodontist toolkit today, it's starting to look like something from a sci-fi movie. I mean, you've got AI designing custom 3D printed brackets, you've got robots bending arch wires with microscopic precision, you've got braces that are completely invisible because they sit behind the teeth, and you have TADs giving you levels of control we never thought possible. The future of the smile isn't coming, it's here.
So all of this incredible technology, right, from Edward Engel's first simple wire all the way to today's AI-driven systems, it's all been chasing the same things, making treatment faster, the results more precise, and the whole process more invisible.
And that leads to this one really fascinating final question. As we get closer and closer to having perfect control and total personalization in moving teeth, are we accidentally heading towards a future where every perfect smile looks exactly the same? Or will this new level of control actually let us embrace and celebrate the infinite, beautiful variety of a human smile in ways we've never even imagined? What will the smile of the future really look like? The answer, it seems, is still being written.